What's going on, everybody? Benton Blakeman here for the Hand History Lounge, and we are back to work after 11 months of not doing a video. We're here for the Online Grind, Volume 8, the Quarantine Edition. That's right, things are a little bit different in the world than they were 11 months ago. A lot different than they were a few months ago, but we're here, we're playing online. We're going to do a little training video today. Hope everybody's been staying safe and doing well. I have been playing a whole lot online. As you can see, it's a little bit different. I'm sure some of you guys out there are playing on some of these apps. This one is called Poker Bros. Poker Bros is just an app-based poker program. I won't go too much into it, but you pretty much join a club and get in through your club, and that's about it. All the clubs link to a union. A little bit complex to understand, but at the end of the day, there's a bunch of good poker games going because everybody's playing online, and things feel like they felt in the mid-2000s. So anyway, we've got 6 games going here. We're going to call this Table 1, the center one Table 2, and the right one Table 3. Over on Table 1, we've got 3 games going. You can see the 3 tables along the top. So this one's a 7-3 offsuit, which will fold. We're folded Jack-5, and it's on us here with the Ace-Queen. Ace-Queen offsuit facing a middle position raise, and we're last to act. I'm just going to call. I think 3-betting would be okay, but there's also merit to calling. We're going to call a lot of hands from the big blind, so we want to have some better hands in it too to protect that super wide calling range. On this draw, I have a flop. I would prefer having a spade in hand to call, but I think it's still okay to call with the nut no pair hand here. We'll switch to this table. We're going to go ahead and isolate the king queen. We're going to make it $10. That's 5 big blinds. Raising to 4 big blinds, small blind into big blind. And we're going to go ahead and check the river to him because he's representing ace highs when he bets flop checks turn. So we're going to go ahead and check the river to him. Let him bet. And now we're going to check raise for some thin value. We're going to make it 28. King 3 will check. King Queen will go ahead and bet 16. Calling here. Looks like we won the Ace Queen. We'll take a look at the river. And on the river, I raised to 28 and he folded. So no problem there. No, I think we're going to check the King Queen here. Reason being, we don't want to get raised off our equity, which we have a whole lot of. And now we're just going to bet the river because I think he's going to check it back a whole lot. And we're going to go ahead and charge flush draws here. And, well, he had the straight on the turn, so we got very lucky there. That was a good turn check. We didn't put a bunch of extra money in bad, which is nice. Set of queens. This guy has 40, so what we want to do is we want to bet slightly less than the 40. That way, if he raises, it will reopen the action to us. Since we check back flop with ace 10, we're going to call, since we under-repped our hand here. And when he checks river, I think we're going to have the best hand a whole lot. We could go for some thin value. We could check. I think we can actually cause him to spaz out here by going something silly like $4. And it may make him just check raise here. And when he does, we're gonna be calling it off. Because I don't think he's going to check raise a jack. He's going to check raise bluffs, or he's going to call super light and we make an extra $4. So unfortunately on this site you cannot see what they called you with, but That's just a extremely exploitive online play I'll use sometimes when I'm pretty sure I have the best hand. I don't think they're checking to check raise a monster, and their good hands like top pairs would normally bet. So when he doesn't bet, he has like a weak top pair that will never raise us. Sorry. A weak top pair that will never raise us. Versus a rock here. I'm just going to go ahead and fold. If you click on their face on this side, you can see what their playing style is. It's not perfect, but it's what I use when I'm kind of in between. Like this ace-jack, I could either 3-bet or fold. I do not like calling ace-jack offsuit with a bunch of players left to act behind me. I think it plays much better as a 3-bet or a fold. That time, because he's a rock, I decided to fold. Had he been a looser player, it's a folding pro. Not too many looser players anymore. Used to be a lot per table. Loose cannon, somebody like this. If it had been a loose cannon type, we would 3-bet him for value with the ace-jack, and then look to play against him heads up in position. Obviously, he has position on us, but if this guy had been a loose cannon, I mean... I normally don't play 3 tables on one instance of these. Each of these tables is on an Android emulator, because this is an app that's based for your phone or your iPad or your Samsung tablet. I like to play on my computer, so you have to download an emulator. Each emulator is essentially like a different iPad. So what you're looking at here would be like 3 iPads, except they're all on my computer screen. So normally I just play one table per emulator, and I'll make the table smaller, and I'll play 5 or 6 tables, but I'll be able to see all of them at once. For the sake of the video, and because I want to get more hands in, and I want to save myself a whole bunch of time editing to where I don't have to start cutting hands and cutting dead time, I wanted to get in as many hands as possible. So I decided to put these 3 tables on table 1, 2 tables on table 2, and I only have 1 table on table 3. So you have to bear with me a little bit with the sliding back and forth, because I'm not used to stacking the tables. But hopefully, look, the whole goal of the video is not perfect. I know I don't get a ton of views. I mostly do this for the members of the Hand History Lounge. You know, and there's some people out there who are not members of the Hand History Lounge who do watch them. I understand that, and I appreciate it. But, you know, it's a training tool for my paying subscribers of the Hand History Lounge, and for anybody else who wants to watch it. And it's just something different for me to do. It's not going to be the top production quality. It's not going to be like poker vlogs that you normally watch. So, again, I apologize for it not being perfect, but hopefully at the end of the 30-minute or so video, you get something out of it, and you at least find 1 or 2 hands where you said, hey, you know, he did this and this made sense. Queen 4 suited from the big blind versus a 3x is a defend, since I'm closing the action and I've already got 1 big blind in there. And we're going to just check fold. Back to the jacks. So we had a few limpers. We isolated the limpers. I think everybody feels like when you isolate, well, look, it's an ace-high flop. It's supposed to hit me. Yeah, it's supposed to hit you, but there's 4 players in there, so the odds are one of these players has an ace. So he made it very easy for me to fold here, but had they checked, I would just be checking here and taking a free turn. If it checks to me again on the turn, maybe I'll bet. Maybe I would bet for value. A small bet, 3rd pot or so. But mostly when it goes 4 ways, you want to play pretty straightforward. Bluffing becomes less and less important. I think ace-8 suited here is a spot where almost everybody's going to call, but you have to look at, this guy only has 50 big blinds. We're playing 1-2 no limit. He's just not deep enough for us to call and play this hand with a bunch of players behind who may squeeze. So this is a pretty clear fold to me. When we make 2 pair here, we're just going to go ahead and overbet the river. Because if he has a queen, he's never folding, because the pot size is insignificant. So when I bet 21 into 13, he just never folds. So we make a whole lot more. Most people bet 8 or 9 there. So that's just some extra value that we're getting. Let's go to the 10s. I'm going to raise the 10s. I use a 3.5x sizing when I have time to. First one in. I add about 1 to 1.5 blinds per limper. So so we're going to go ahead and open the 7 with the 10s. Get called by the button in the big blind, and that's a pretty darn good flop. So how do we play it? 3 ways. I think 3 ways I just tend to go ahead and bet. I really don't want it to check through. What sizing do we use? We block top pair, so we don't have to go too big. I think that something like that would be fine. It can induce a raise, a little bit less than half pot, can induce a raise from some draw type hands. And you can get some light calls. We're going to go $7 with the 10s over here on table 3. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best card in the world. Obviously, we'd rather still have the nuts, but it is what it is. Lots of draws out there, so now we're going to go ahead and size up. 37 into 49 seems pretty okay. Jack 10 offsuit under the gun. Table 1 is a fold. A little bit too loose, 9-handed. Queen 10 offsuit, we're going to go ahead and call. Not loving the fact that he raised here on table 2 and the fact that he calls, but with top set, we're just getting it in. I'm not folding. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not folding. He doesn't have a straight. He would re-raise a straight for the most part, Gold Bear, but anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get it in. Again, not loving it. It's never good when you bet and they pretty much min-raise you, but it doesn't mean that you're always dead. They could have a set. They could have 2 pair. They could have 6-7 here. They could have some draws. I'm going to feel foolish if Gold Bear has a straight, but I just don't think that they have a straight that often. And they're drawing dead at 6-7. So yay us. Ship the 7-11 our way. Check the Queen 10 over on table 1. And heads up here on table 3. 2 10s without a 10 of spade. Maybe I can call here, but I think with a bigger pair and well, we timed out anyway, but we're going to go ahead and fold 10 of spades. Makes flush draws a little bit less likely. He can have an ace, he can have a queen. If you decide to call there, definitely not the worst thing in the world. I think I split between call and folding there, and I make my decision based on whether I'm holding a spade in my hand or not. So honestly, there's a little bit more action so far than I thought there would be, which is terrific. I'm pretty excited about that. All right, Jack 10 offsuit on the button. Not a great hand, but I do defend buttons wide. I fold Queen 10 off, King 10 off versus a raise. I call Jack 10 offsuit and Ace 10 offsuit on the button versus a raise. I think it just plays better in general. Oftentimes you'll get the big blind coming in, and you can take 3-way flops with a hand that flops pretty decent in position. Had one of the blinds 3-bet, we have a pretty easy fold. So over here on table 3, we're going to defend the ace-9 suited versus the small blinds 4x open. When they check to us on table 2 on a 10-7-3 and we have Jack 10 offsuit, we're going to go ahead and make a bet here. We're going to bet a little bit bigger than half pot when you're 3 ways. You don't want to bet your 30% pots and stuff when you're 3 ways. Because it's okay if the hand just ends. Check an ace-5 offsuit on table 1 from the big blind, facing an early position limp. I do not get too crazy out of the blinds. I'm pretty straightforward. I don't have any info in here, but when he just check raises a 10-7-3 rainbow flop, and he's only got 80 left, yeah, I just have trouble folding. I don't like folding. Maybe that's a leak of mine, but I think that he just check raises hands like 7-8, 10-8, 10-9 suited. He's gonna have some 10-jack. Of course, he's gonna have like ace-10. He could have 7s or 3s, but I just pay him off. Or 10-3 suited. That was reasonable. He wants to run it twice. Sure, why not? We shall accept running it twice. And we will let him make a full house. And somebody's showing us they folded a jack. Hey, 10s and 7s, chop her up. Hey. I was lucky. Yeah, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do there versus a short stack like that. I don't expect him to limp 10-3 suited. Although, actually, it looks like he didn't limp. I was, Yeah, I was mistaken there. Well, I probably should be folding that if I knew he was in the big blind. For some reason, I thought he limped. Oh no, he called a raise from the big blind. Called a raise because we called the Jack 10. So yeah, whatever. I mean, it's you make mistakes. It's small pots. I still don't even know if it's a mistake, but for the sake of the video, let's get it in there and see what happens. Alright, button, table 1, ace, queen offsuit, and go ahead and raise 3 big blinds. I use a 3.5x in most spots on the button. I tend to use a 3x. Theoretically, it's just because the blinds are going to 3-bet you more from a button open, so you lose less when you're bluffing. You can defend a little bit more because the 3-bets are smaller. Realistically, that probably doesn't matter in this game. I can just use the same size all the way across. It's just a creature of habit thing. I often find myself doing it in live poker as well. Say if I'm playing 2-5 no limit, I'll be opening to 20, but on the button I open to 15. No real reason to. Over on table 3, we got a perfect little candidate here for a 3-bet. Not quite good enough to call, although some people can call, and I think calling might be profitable. I prefer to 3-bet. And I use a 3x sizing in position. 6-7 suited from the small blind facing a raise here. I fold here. A lot of people will call there, which is fine. I don't like calling too much from the small blind, not knowing what's going to happen behind me. And we're going to raise the 10s on the button on table 1. Looks like we won the 3-bet with the king 9 suited over on table 3. So that's a $9. Stick it in the bank. Okay, so this is a spot where people on table 1, we raised. We got 3-bet from the small blind. I don't know how he constructs a small blind range. He's technically a rock. I think 4-betting here is fine. I think 4-betting in this field, 4-betting and folding to a shove is probably the correct play because I just don't see them 5-bet shoving light. I think we can call. I think all of our options are on the table. I think I'm going to go with the 4-bet, although in retrospect, based on his sizing, I don't know if that's the best, but whatever. He's not folded, so we'll take it. Those spots are tough for me. I mean, even after 15.5 years of playing for a living, those spots are pretty tough for me to decide which way I want to go with it. So I mix it. Oftentimes in my other videos, you guys may have seen me use a random number generator. I don't have it on this computer. I'm recording on a new computer. These emulators take up a ton of processor space, processor power. I'm not sure what the right word is. So about a month ago, after quarantine started, I realized my 7-year-old computer wasn't exactly cutting it. So I ordered a gaming PC, and I'm using it just for poker. And recording, obviously. But I have not downloaded the random number generator, which we would have used there by just clicking it, and it gave us a number 0 to 100, and say in that spot like that, if I would have went above 50, I would have 4-bet, below 50, I would have called. Anyway, back to this hand on table 1. This is a pretty solid flop. No need to go too big. And no plans on folding if he decides to get jiggy with it. We will be raising the 3s over here on table 3. And we won the queen jack. He just check folded, which is unfortunate because that was a pretty big flop. So yeah, maybe in future videos, if I do any more, I'll have that random number generator up and we will experiment with that some. 3 ways with the 3s. This is not a good flop at all for me to bet. So many hands I can call with have so much more equity. This is hands I'm looking to just really just get the showdown with. Jack 10 offsuit on table 1. Again, we're in like the low jack, hijack cutoff button. You could isolate. I guess I'll isolate here. You could definitely fold here, but I think isolating a loose player, table hero, we're going to turn him green, is fine. And then we're going to raise the ace king. We're going to fold the 3s. Ace king, we went 4.5x because of the limp. So we flopped a straight draw here, but This is a flop that a loose player is always going to continue on. A player behind us is still left to act. So we're definitely going to check and just try to get to a turn. And mostly just check folding. We don't have a spade. We don't have that many clean outs. A 10 may not be good for us. A spade may not be good. We're not even sure if a jack's good. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think they play bad enough where you don't have to get crazy with those. Ace-9 suited, table 1. We're playing six-handed. I'm going to go ahead and raise. The ace-king, we can bet here on this flop. We can pretty much bet our whole range, especially against a loose player. Even though it's four ways, we can just bet our whole range here, especially with the ace of diamonds. Wow, it's a pretty good flop here again. We're going to go ahead and bet small. We're going to bet like just over third pot. And they fold. No! Ace-jack on a couple tables. I'm going to raise them up. Raise them up. Verse. Yeah, with a player behind, we're just going to fold the ace-king. This is a loose cannon type guy, and a player behind is left to act. I think we can just fold. The thing is, they don't raise super light often. What they tend to do, 4-3 suited, facing a raise, a call, 3 bets, a fold. Had it been call, you know, we can just call here from the big blind and complete our action. Check 9-7. We're going to bet 2/3 pot here, and we're going to bet 2/3 pot here. We got called. 9-7. We'll just check back. Ace-jack. We got called in one spot. So we're just going to keep betting. In general, when we flop top pair like this, we just want to bet until they tell us not to bet. This guy only has 82, so we're going to go for we're going to go for a check raise. I think he's going to bet a whole lot when we check to him. And again, we're just going to bet here. And he checked through, so we're just going to go ahead and put it in. A little over bet. Because I think his calling range doesn't change. Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter. We're going to lose our chips there anyway. The deuces, we're going to raise to 3x. Looks like the ace-jack. Let's see if we got called on the river. On the river, we bet 48 and did get called with the ace-jack. So we win $91 there. Got 3 streets of value. It's pretty nice on ace-king 8-4-5. We shall take it. Ace-10 offsuit. I fold this in the first 3 spots. Some people play it. Up to you. Some people call me a super nit for folding, which is fine. I don't really care. I play a lot of hands from here, like 7-9 suited. I just think they play better than trying to play ace-10 offsuit. But again, personal preference. Personal preference. It's up to you. I'm going to try to make this video exactly 30 minutes or so. I don't want it to go too long. I think we've actually had a couple of really cool hands in here, which hopefully can help out. I've got about 6 minutes or so left, so hopefully we find a few more spots in the next 6 minutes. And then we'll call it a wrap at that point. A little bit unfortunate to run those ace-jack into the pocket fours on the jack 4 deuce 8 jack board, but you know, it's fine. I'm gonna start standing up and start wrapping up the video here. Pocket 10's under the gun. We're going to go ahead and raise it up. Stand up next big blind. Stand up next big blind. Stand up next big blind. Alright, small blind called us. We're going to jack high flop. This is pretty cool. So I'm going to bet this flop quite often. I think you can go just under half pot is fine. I can get called by ace 4, 4, 5, 5 sixes, ace 7, 7, 8, 7, 9 suited. A lot of hands that we beat where I can still get value. I think people just default to automatically checking when they don't have top pair. Which, I mean, that's okay, I get it. But there's definitely some spots when you're playing four-handed where I could, theoretically go for 3 small streets with Jack 10 there. I could go for bet flop, check turn, over bet river. You can definitely find some pretty cool spots. And we're going to start slowly getting out of these games here. Exit here. See if we can find any more hands to play before we are done. Queen 10 suited. I defend suited broadways from the small blind. He made a small raise of 2.5x, so I think it's a pretty clear call. We flop top pair on a monotone board. Definitely going to start with a check. Probably, now we're just going to go ahead and make some small bets here. And I'm fine. If I get raised, I just have to fold. On the river, I don't think he's going to bluff. And I don't think he will bet worse. So I think we can just check and show down our hand and win a lot, which is fine. And we found a little bit of value there. Yeah, so it's quite a weird time for everybody. I really hope everybody's staying safe and spending time with your families and, making the best of this time. It's definitely a time like we probably won't see again, or hopefully won't see again in our life. I'm going to fold the Queen 5 here, forward to a straight. Fold the ace 7 offsuit. A lot of people like to defend the button with an ace. It's a bad idea, guys. These hands have some nasty reverse implied odds, and also, what hand are you really trying to make when you're playing ace 7 offsuit for a raise? It just kind of sets up to lose a big pot or win a very small one. It's just not worth it. Just not worth it. But yeah, hopefully everybody's staying safe out there and making the most of it. I have actually been really enjoying playing online. I never thought I'd say that again, but I think I was starting to get burnt out playing live poker, and it was a much needed break for me. Over on table 3, we're going to raise King Queen of Hearts, 3.5 big blinds from the hijack. But yeah, much needed break. I'm trying to grind 5 tables or so. I try to play 3 to 4 hours a day. Sometimes I split it up into 2 sessions, and I'll play maybe 5 hours that day, 2-hour session and a 3-hour session, and but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Okay, so this player, fancy this, is a loose cannon, and he 3-bet us here. We're going to go ahead and call in position with the suited Broadway. Take a flop. The rough part about this is against these kind of players, if you flop top pair, it's going to be tough to fold. He is betting 50 into 71. We're just going to call with top 2. And we're looking for a card like the 7 of hearts. When he checks, 239 in there, 171. I think he's going to be drawing relatively thin. So we're going to go ahead and bet a number where it looks like he may have fold equity if he check jams us. What we're hoping is that he decides to check jam a hand like 10s or jacks because we bet small. Or, ace queen would have been fine. We're in really good shape against ace queen. But that works. Pick up 1 on the way out the door. Alright, well, we just hit the mark, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for watching the video. And till next time, man, just stay safe. Enjoy it. Check out Hand History Lounge, www.handhistorylounge.com. If you're not familiar with Poker Bros and you're wanting to play on the site, you like the way the action looks, the software is pretty cool. Didn't show you this real quick. The Jack 9 middle table. Let's see. Sorry, on demand across the table. Let's catch him with a tomato in the face. Or Joe Bay, how about a little poop pie in the face? Metaplasia next to us. Let's give him a little donkey head for fun. Anyway, software is really fun. If you're interested, let me know. I can get you on it. I can get you taken care of. Send me an email, blakemanpoker@yahoo.com. Again, go to handhistorylounge.com. Send me an email if you want to get on Poker Bros. And I will see you guys next time.